most successful at what they do. One is a Heisman Trophy winner in the Naval Academy, led the Dallas Cowboys to 2 Super Bowl wins in the 70s, and numerous comeback wins. The other is a country music singing legend, numerous #1 hits, and loads of awards, including Grammys and AMAs. These 2 individuals bring the star power of the stories from the gridiron on the Donniesport football show. Ready? Here are the names. Cowboy quarterback legend Roger Staubach and country music legend Tim Mcgraw. Both will talk about what it takes to be successful at what they do. Tim Mcgraw and Roger Staubach. Right now on Stories from the Gridiron on the Donniesport football show.
Well, actually, it's kind of being up to speed. Yesterday in the Wall Street Journal, they had a story on the football teams. The Cowboys were, I believe, it was like 23% ahead. They had this metrics that all different ways to pick the most popular team in football, which relate to economics too. And the Cowboys were 23% ahead of the #2 team, which was the Steelers. And did we play the Steelers when I was playing? 35-31. Let's talk about that. You know, but then they had a side piece that was really neat because it talked about the beginning. You know, Tom Landry and Tex Graham, marketing, leading right into what Jerry's done. So there's been a history, and it even said, which isn't good, that the Cowboys, even if they had a losing season, they'd still be very popular. But the Cowboys are really a good football team. There's a real interest in, you know, as far as watching the Cowboys on TV. And of course, you know, I've been a Cowboys fan from day one when I got here in 1969. And so I think the Super Bowl 45 coming here to the stadium kind of drove the deal, but it's still intriguing with the stadium being the Cowboys. Getting the opportunity to have the Super Bowl here is going to be a major economic engine for North Texas. And you know, I was privileged. You know, Jerry called me, called my wife, and said, "Can Roger come over to our house?" It was on a Friday afternoon, and I said, "What's Jerry want?" Because I'm a fan of his, but I don't hang out with him like that. And he knows I support the Cowboys, and I said, I wonder why he wants me over there. You know, I know Brad Johnson was having a bad year that year, and I looked really good in the touch game. So I went over there, not knowing him. If you wanted to see a comeback, I'm a year or 2 older than Brett Favre. But the thing is that talking about the Super Bowl, asking me to host the bid, that was over 3 years ago. And I think that you're seeing the value not only of the Cowboys, but of North Texas and football. And one of the things we presented to the owners was we had a 15-minute, I spoke for 12 minutes, and we had a 3-minute clip on North Texas and football. So that had a big impact on winning the Super Bowl. But I think the Cowboys have helped a lot as far as being, if you're a sports fan of North Texas, and now having the Super Bowl here with this stadium is phenomenal. So it's a long answer, but it's a good question, and I think the Cowboys are, as the Wall Street Journal just said the other day, a very popular football team.
Tim, is this as diverse a concert as you've ever been a part of?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's in the whole relativity of what it's about. But you know, I've done a few things with football before, you know, so it's not that far-fetched for me. I did the opening game last year. Of course, my wife's done the Sunday Night Football thing for a couple of years too. So it's not that far out there. I mean,
Pretty good football movie too.
Yeah, exactly. A good Texas football movie, absolutely.
Did you know that Roger, from the very beginning, that they started talking about the concerts, that Roger started campaigning for Faith Hill in the Letterman?
In that order.
I knew it was a Faith Hill thing. And as his favorite,
I actually work out the CMT. I work out the country music in the morning, and so I'm. The new Kenny Chesney, I'm actually in there for about
That's right.
Split
That's right.
second.
Yes.
And I'm a big fan of yours and your wife's.
Well, thank you. This is an incredible place to be. I've never been in the stadium here. To be here tonight in Dallas at this stadium, football season's started last night in full swing. I'm just a huge fan. I'm a fan of football. I'm a fan, of course, a fan of Rogers, but of what it stands for and the integrity of the game. I'm just glad to be a part of it.
What do you enjoy more, the acting or the singing?
Oh, I got to dance with what Brony means. Plus, it pays the bills.
Hey, what is the new movie? What's the name of it?
It's Country Strong, Gwenna.
Country
Strong.
Strong.
Yeah.
And then you have
Strong, S-T, not strong.
Strong.
No. Country Strong's a bad enough title. Don't make it strong.
But you haven't seen the trailer, seen it for the first time,
I haven't seen the trailer that they're putting out now. No.
but you're going to see it tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to see it tonight on the screen. I didn't mean Country Strong is a bad title. I just don't call it Country Strong. That would be a bad title. You're not wrong.
Got a question for you, Tim. You've done a lot of things, both in music and in movies, and you've won a lot of awards. Which is the most satisfying? Your first #1 hit, your first Grammy, or the day that you got your star on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood?
Well, gosh, you always got to go back to your first hit record because that sort of was the impetus for everything else to happen, I guess. All those were significant moments to me, but probably catching a touchdown pass in high school was probably one of the highlights of my life. But no, they're all significant. I can't pick one thing and say that it was more significant than the other because they're all building blocks and they all lead to something else. I'm not a kind of guy that looks back at things. I'm always looking at what's around the corner. So.
What was your reaction whenever you heard that the host committee was approaching you about this concert?
Fantastic. I was excited about it. Like I said, I'm a huge football fan, and I hadn't seen the stadium down here, so I was looking forward to be able to play in this stadium. So it's the only way I'm going to play in this stadium is on a stage.
If I want something, I'ma go get it. At first it be all struggle, then it's all credit. See, back in the day, getting on was mad hectic. Looking for my start in hip-hop like Cedar and Sedgwick. I knew I loved music, ideas sparked the fuse lit. I had talent and knew it, but had yet to prove it, yo. I ran the ciphers and the shows.